And at the 87, 90 and 93 federal elections, in head-to-head contests, the Nationals lost seats to the Liberals and they lost seats to Labor, and they hit the lowest levels about 1993. And the two parties have rarely competed against each other since 1993, and they've tended to stick to a single policy issue. Because in the 1980s, state and federal level, the Labor Party campaigned when the two parties were not in coalition. How can they form government? It is true that there can't be another coalition government without the Nationals, but the Nationals will not be in government unless the Liberal Party recover at the next election, and that means improving their seats in the city. And there's been some fanciful talk about the Nationals running on the edges of the city and moving into regional cities. They tried that in the 80s and it didn't go anywhere, or eventually fell apart at the end of the Queensland National Party government in the 1980s. But since then, the National Party have stuck to their territory, and the problem for the coalition, ex-coalition if it is now an ex-coalition, is the Liberal Party collapse at the general election. And there is not going to be another coalition government unless the Liberal Party recover. I think this is a debate about what the Nationals want to promise, what promises they want out of the Liberals, while the Liberals parties need them so much more than at other times. But realistically, this is not something which is going to help them win the next election. And unless they resolve it before the next election, I don't think the Nationals can accept. I don't think people like Bridget McKenzie and Ross Cadell in New South Wales are going to get free seats on the coalition ticket, a joint coalition ticket. So I mean that's the consequence of this: is do the parties run against each other? Do they still have a joint ticket in the Senate at the next election?
You touched on it there, Anthony, but how does this affect the LNP in Queensland?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing with the LNP was the Nationals-Liberals split in Queensland that led to the 87 split in the federal coalition, and also played a part in why John Howard initially opposed the creation of the LNP. The LNP wasn't formed till after the Howard government was defeated. John Howard was of the view that these disputes between the Liberals and the Nationals would infect the coalition in Canberra. And I think if you look at the last few years of politics, there's a reasonable argument that the coalition politics of Queensland has been getting involved in the way the coalition works in Canberra in a way that John Howard originally warned about. So I think the Nationals in New South Wales have lived comfortably with the Liberals for over a century with very, very few difficulties. The Victorians have tended not to get on with each other. WA has its own thing. What they don't want is, you just say after the 21 WA election, the Nationals surprisingly won more seats than the Liberals, and the Nationals refused to budge out of being the official opposition, which made it hard for the Liberals to win the 2025 WA election. Right. In the end, the Nationals will be the smaller party in government. They won't make many gains because there aren't many further seats that they can win outside of the capital cities. It relies on the Liberal Party recovering, and this dispute is not going to help the coalition, the two parties, win the next election. I suspect it's the National Party viewing the Liberal Party as in a weakened position at the moment. There are divisions within the Liberal Party, and they view this as a useful way of getting advantages.
So do you think that they will come together by the time of the next federal election?
They have to. They have to. I mean, there is no alternative government to Labor if the two parties are going to go into the next election divided. They'll do exactly what the Labor Party will do exactly what Bob Hawke did in 1987 and say, if you can't govern your own parties, you can't govern the country.